and I am super excited about today's video. It's my first TBR video. Yay! So excited for it. So if you want to see what I plan on reading in the month of July, stay tuned. I'm not gonna pretend like I haven't been missing these last couple of months. So much has happened. Started a business, lots of things with my kiddos, some life changes, but I am really glad to be back and sharing my July TBR. So I decided to do something a little different this month. Normally, I'll just either mood read my way through the month or kind of pick a TBR and go from there. But I decided to use my Instagram. So rather than do like a poll or kind of scroll through my feed and pick books, I am going to use my saved collections on Instagram. So I have a collection where I call books to read, and I pretty much save books that I come across when I'm scrolling on Bookstagram because, ooh, this looks interesting and I want to read it. If I'm being completely honest, I hardly ever refer back to it. It has just become this big place where I collect and hoard posts of books that I want to read. So I thought that this month it would be cool, in addition to all the other reads that I have on my TBR, adding some books that I pick from my saved collection. And I thought it would be even more fun to make it like a game. So pretty much using my Instagram saved feed as a game board. TBR games are some of my favorite videos to watch on BookTube, Bookopoly, Cards Against My TBR, Eminem's Pick My TBR, all of it. I love them all. So I thought it would be really fun to do my own kind of TBR game using my Instagram saved feed. So if you would like to know what books I am going to be reading, let us dive in. Hey, we're gonna play a little game where I use my Instagram to help me pick a few books for my TBR. So we're just going to go to my saved and my books to read. Now, the way that we're gonna do it is there are 12 spaces on the screen at a time. The blue die is going to tell us how many times we're going to swipe to get a fresh set of 12 posts, and then we'll use these to count the number of spaces and pick a book from there. So if we were to go off of this one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then One Summer in Savannah would be added to my TBR. Okay, so I'm debating if I want to start at the very top or go all the way down to the bottom, and then, so let's go all the way down to the bottom. That way we get a good mix. It's not like some of the newest things that I've added. I know for a fact that I'm going to be doing 4 rolls. So we're going to do 4 picks. The very start, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to roll this one and see how many swipes to do. So we have 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is like our mini game board. Let's roll. And we got 5. So I think I'm gonna start at the bottom and count my way up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one is Lies of a Monster by Rena Kent. All right, so this is our first pick from our reads. So I don't know much about this one, but apparently the cover is probably what got me. Roll number 1, we got Lies of My Monster by Rena Kent. Now, according to my research, this is a part of a, sorry, I'm just referring to my iPad here. This is a part of a Dark Mafia trilogy. And it says it cannot be read on its own. So I am going to sub Lies of a Monster for book 1 in the Monster trilogy, and it's called Blood of My Monster. So I hadn't really read any mafia romance until Jen from the Book Refuge hosted a mafia romance readathon, and let's just say I fell down the rabbit hole and I loved it. I really like dark romance, so I love that it was dark and it was suspenseful and it was like a lot going on, plus the spice. So I'm looking forward to diving into another dark mafia romance series. So according to this, because I have not read from Miss Rena Kent, but like I said, I see her all through Bookstagram. I see all the girlies talking about her on BookTube, all the romance girlies. So super excited. We will be reading Blood of My Monster, book 1 in the Monsters trilogy, and then hopefully we will make it, maybe not in this month, but eventually we'll get to Lies of My Monster. So that was pick 1. Roll number 2. Let's do another one. 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now we're gonna roll. And we got 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this one is cool. It is Twisted Pride. Okay, so roll number 2, we got Twisted Pride by Cora Riley. And again, this is a new to me author, but it's given, kind of dark romance, maybe mafia romance kind of vibes. So really excited to read this one. And I'm not gonna lie, I like to go into my books a little bit blind because I feel like sometimes like the synopsis just gives too much. Like, leave something up to our imagination, please. Now we're on to roll number 3. Okay, 4 is popular, so we're gonna go back and we're gonna swipe 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're gonna roll. And we got 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this one is Smolder by Laurel K. Hamilton. Roll number 3, pick number 3. We got Smolder by Laurel K. Hamilton. Now, this is book number 29 in this series, following a paranormal investigator, or like, I don't want to call her a vampire hunter, but because I don't want the fandom coming for me, but it's book number 29. I don't know if they're standalones, but I feel like if you were in book 29, like at some point there have been some overarching kind of things going on. And I do not think I want to jump in at number 29, nor am I ready to start another series that has 29 books thus far. I will keep this series in mind and put this on my, want to read, but not for me right now. So we're going to add one more roll or pick, just because this one just isn't for me right now. All right, so let's go with another roll. I completely forgot to show off today's tea. So it says I'm basically a librarian, which I am. I run a small, and we use the term small loosely, personal library. And if you are anything like me, I'm pretty sure you've had books on books on books. So you're basically a librarian too. So definitely check out my shop, shopthepaperfan.com, for bookish merch, stickers, mugs, planner related things. Use code FAN15 to save yourself a little bit on your next order. Okay, 5. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 9 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, okay. Reckless Lies. It doesn't have the book cover, but it looks like, and it's a book 4, so I would have to see if I can read this one. I think these may be standalones, but we should be good. We got Reckless Lies by Nikki J. Summer. Have not read from her either, but now is a good time to take the leap. Clearly, this is like the summer of series, because this one, Reckless Lies, is also a part of a series. I think they can kind of be read alone and like operate as standalones, but sometimes I get a little purist vibes and want to start from the beginning. I am going to sub Reckless Lies for the first book in this series, and that one is Renegade Hearts. So when I was doing my research about this series, like, I saw that the girlies were loving it, I think they thought like it follows brothers, so we love when you got a pack of hot brothers. And I think each book is about a different brother. Now, I don't necessarily know if it's like Menage or anything like that, but the cover, y'all. The cover. So we will be adding this one to the TBR. This is a part of the Rebels of Sandland, another mafia, maybe motorcycle club. Don't really know, but we're gonna find out. We will find out. So that is next on our Instagram TBR. So we've done our 4 rolls, but we're going to do one bonus roll just in case I can't read. What is it called? Laura K. Hamilton Smolder. So, see. Whoop. 5. Okay, let's see if we got 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 9. 9 is popular. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one is Ren. We got to make sure this isn't an arc, because sometimes they are. Okay, so this one is called Ren and the Tarnished Tiger. So we'll give that a go. Completely forgot that we had to add 1 extra roll, because we're not diving into book 29 of Laura K. Hamilton's series. So we ended up with Ren and the Tarnished Tiger by E.M. Leander. So this one is given kind of like YA fantasy vibes. I don't necessarily know if there's any romance in it, but I was a big YA fantasy girly, still am, before KU Romance snatched me up and converted me, okay? So I'm looking forward to this one. I've seen a few reviews for it floating around, and I do not think I've read any fantasy in a while, which is kind of odd for me. Well, it's because in the month of June, y'all, Queen Charlotte took me. I could not. I did not want to leave Regency, London, y'all. I needed more and more and more and more of this era. So historical romance had me the entire month of June. That's all I read. With the exception of a few other books that, were for book clubs and buddy reads. But for the most part, the TBR that I picked was Regency Romance. So, super excited to be getting back to some of my dark romance, a little bit of fantasy. Now that Instagram has picked my TBR, let's talk about some of the other books I will be reading this month. So, book clubs for melanated girls read. Hey guys! Over on Facebook, we are reading The Niger Wife. I have seen this one everywhere, and I am super excited because we get to do our book club discussion with the author virtually. So hopefully I may be able to share a couple of clips of how that goes, but really excited for this one. So I have to admit, I cannot pick my own thrillers. When I want to read a thriller, I have to go to the thriller girlies and be like, okay, help me, because when I pick them myself, I don't like them. But I do know that I like domestic thrillers. So if it's a husband and a wife, let me read it. If you have a domestic psychological type thriller to recommend me, put it in the comments. If a girl is missing and we are trying to find her, but I want an amateur sleuth. Not like, don't give me no cops. I don't want a cop looking for her. I do not want to be in the mindset of law enforcement. I want this to be a sister, a relative, a good Samaritan looking for this missing girl. So if you have some recommendations, put them in the comments for me. Because so far that is what I've been enjoying in the thrillers I have read. So, The Niger Wife. Also up next for book club reads will be You Were Always Mine by Christine Pride and Joe Piazza. I hope I'm saying that right. And this is for Omega Phi Donuts, which is a bookish sorority that I joined via Bookstagram. Hey y'all, OPD Donuts. And they constantly push me to read out of my comfort zone. Like, we read everything across the board. So, looking forward to this one. Haven't read from these authors, but I definitely heard that the debut was like top tier. Okay, another book club pick is for Black Girls Read 2, another Facebook book club group that I'm in, and they are reading Plie by A.H. Cunningham. Do y'all see this cover? I don't need to know what it's about. That cover? The cover? That's all I need to see. And I was like, yes. So that will also be on my TBR. All right. Now on to the buddy reads. So I have convinced, let me rephrase that. I have convinced my sisters to get back into reading. And once a month, we do a buddy read. I don't want to call it a book club because then it's too high stakes for them and they're not going to want to read the book. So, a buddy read. We keep it light, we keep it fun. Next buddy read is with a few of my bookish babes. Hey y'all, if y'all watching. And we are reading Titan by Jillian Graves. So this is supposed to be like a daddy dom gargoyle situation. So I have had a few encounters in my books with Men of Stone. So excited to see what Miss Jillian Graves has to bring to the table. That is book clubs and buddy reads. This month being like that mid-year point going into the second half of the year, I have realized I have not been keeping up with my TBR, y'all. I blame it on Bookstagram, Booktube, and every Facebook reading group that I'm in, because they keep piling on the recommendations, and I'm just here like, give it to me, yes. And I've been ignoring my TBR. So I pick, I do the 23 in 2023, which are 23 books that I physically own that are like on my shelves that I would like to read. And then I pick, I think like anywhere from 15 to 20 books that I just want to read. And so I have my 23 in 2023 and then just my 2023 TBR. Also, I have been doing that challenge where it's like 12 Recs by 12 friends. I am behind. Now, these are my personal reads. These next books are books that are actually on my 2023 TBR. So, first one is this little mass market paperback, y'all. Don't come for my mass market paperbacks. So, I love to thrift for books. I love thrifting in general. So, when you can thrift plus books, I'm happy. I'm happy. So I stumbled across, literally, as you can see my little thrifted mass market paperbacks up here. I stumbled across the Dark series by Christine Feehan. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. This one is Dark Desire, which is book 2 in the Dark series. It's old. It's an older backlist series, which I don't mind because that means it's probably finished. Or I have tons of books to read before I get to where I'm waiting on the next book to come out. So this one I'll tell y'all just a little bit about it because I've read the first book and this one is the second book. So it follows a race of vampire-like people called the Carpathians, and the Carpathians pretty much are getting sick. They dying out. Like, they're having mostly male Carpathians, so it's really hard for them to keep the bloodline of this species going, of this like vampire-like race going, because they more like real sexy grumpy men, and they have like telekinesis, so they can read minds. So it's giving fated mates vibes, that one soulmate kind of thing, touch her and die. And each book is a standalone, but it does follow like a overarching plot or whatever. So this is book 2, and this one follows Jacques and Shay. So this is one that is on my TBR that I actually own. As you can see, most of the other books are ebooks. Shout out to Kindle, love it. But so this one is Dark Desire, which is book 2 in the Dark series by Christine. And then we have The Fine Print. Okay, so I bought this last year when it was like popping up everywhere, and I still haven't read it yet. I knew I wanted to read it this year because I put it on my TBR, but other things have just taken my attention. And I don't know why I haven't read this yet, because I love Billionaire Romance. Like, when I started to dip my toe in the romance pool, like, Billionaire Romance is what brought me over to the spicy side. Like, when I was only reading like YA and fantasy and stuff like that, Billionaire Romance is what was like, no girl, come on over here. Let me show you the books. Let me show you the reads. Come find out what the romance girl is and why they live in their best life. Yeah, so I am looking forward to reading this one, like, because I just love me some Billionaire Romance. It's just be like, hey girl, let me wine you and dine you. Maybe be a little mean to you. So I don't know if it has enemies to lovers vibes. Like, it's been so long that I don't even really remember what it's about. But I do know that I want to read it. And all the girlies on Bookstagram, they love it. So maybe I will too. And then next we have the Accidental Pinup. So I saw this one when I was in either Barnes and Noble or Books A Million, one of the two. And the cover was just so cute. I'm not gonna lie, I love like the little pinup aesthetic. So when I saw that she was like a woman of color and it was giving like curvy, thick girl vibes, and I was like, who doesn't want a cute little body positive rom-com moment for the summer? I also bought this one last year with the intention of reading it when I bought it. But things happen and now is her time. So this is also on my TBR for this month. So we have done it. We have did our first TBR video. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I feel like a real booktuber. I feel like I'm having my moment. So if you made it to the end of the video, put a camera for the Accidental Pinup, a little camera emoji in the comments. Let me know you were here. Say hi. If you have any thriller recommendations, thriller recs, drop them in the comments. And I will see y'all in the next one.